Well, well, well. Coffee with Rob again. Well, what's on today? You will not regret buying a property in South Africa and Cape Town in 2021. So what I'm saying to you is things are not what you thought they were. So you won't regret having bought a property in 2021. If you haven't watched this channel before, it's Rob GillT. It's all about property, it's all about Cape Town, it's all about fun. Let's get to it, guys. Let's go and chat about this. So, you went and bought a property in 2021 out of necessity, or because you needed to, or you were rushed, or whatever the case. And it was only last year, that everyone thought that the world was ending due to a pandemic, and everyone thought there's no way you're going to get your money back on property's crashing, property's going down the toilet, there'll be properties flooding the market for sale because everyone will be bankrupt, so on, so on, so on. Properties will be half their value, they'll lose this much, they'll lose that much, and the predictions went through the sky. Well, if you went and bought a property in 2021, you're running all the way to the bank. You've done really well. Now, what we found this year, buying a property this year was a brilliant idea, because as it came in, the prices did get a little bit adjusted, because people had a fear that property prices were going down. Buyers came flooding into the market. That said, the buyers were mostly ex-tenants that suddenly decided, because the interest rates are so low, and that's another thing that's affected the market, by the way, that it would be a great prospect to now suddenly decide to buy a house, because it's going to cost me the same, if not less, than what I'm paying for my rent at the moment. So I might as well buy. Okay, if I can get a loan, that is, of course. And I've still got my job and everything's going well. But what those people found when they came flooding into the market was nothing's for sale. Absolutely nothing's for sale. So here's the thing, guys. Worldwide, there was a reduction in property for sale by over 46%. So in other words, half the people that were planning to sell their homes took their homes off the market or decided not to sell. And this is the exact opposite scenario of what everyone was expecting. Everyone was expecting properties to flood the market and to become cheap. This hasn't happened. That said, properties haven't become expensive either. It's kind of sort of stagnated, and everyone's gone, oh, hang on, wait a minute, let's see what happens here. So while you can still get a good deal and you can still get a good property, you're going to have to pay pretty much a premium price for it. You're not going to get it mega cheap. But the fear that everyone has is these types of things don't ever play out immediately. They catch up. So the fear that everyone has is what's going to happen in a few months' time. I saw someone the other day posting that they're looking for somewhere to stay and they'll work for their place because they got nothing left and they're going to end up on the street. So there's a lot of that still going around, and that's catching up as we go. Because this pandemic has affected people over time. It didn't affect people immediately. A lot of people had some savings, had money in the bank, whatever. I'll go and get a job, I'll move on. But a year down the line, things are looking grim. So those are still a problem. I'm having coffee. So good. Those are still a problem. They're going to come back onto the market. So it hasn't gone away. It hasn't gone away completely, and there's always that hanging over. So I think probably that's why things are stagnating and staying where they are, why prices haven't gone through the roof. But most people are holding on to what they've got. There's a good reason to hold on to what you've got, especially if you know you can't go and get something else, it's not available. and or maybe you had a problem during the pandemic and you know that your credit record has been affected, so you're not going to get another loan for the next house, and so on and so on and so on. Or you've just waylaid your plans, you've decided not to move towns, not to move countries because the pandemic is affecting that as well. So it has affected the market, but in a way that nobody expected, in a way that everyone is staying put and not selling their property. Those that are selling their property are, funnily enough, investors are dumping property. And this is mainly because they're losing tenants. You know, when they move the interest rates so low, it's the lowest since they've been since 1973. When they move the interest rates so low, you've got to understand that it's viable for someone to own a home rather than pay rent. So tenants become few and far between. That said as well, the tenants that are out there have been affected by the pandemic. A lot of them have lost jobs, a lot of them have lost income, and their credit records are affected, so they're not getting the tenancies. So that's also an issue. So there's a lot of empty properties standing around. So investors don't like standing with empty properties, so those that don't have a lot of them are actually, dumping them because they're not getting paid their rent and that sort of thing. I find the most popular reason for an investor to sell their property is normally their rent wasn't paid somewhere down the line and they're sick and tired of struggling to get their rent. Okay, not because of all the damage and all the rest of it, because that does affect. If they were getting their rent every month and there was damage, they would most likely just cover it. But 9 times out of 10, an investor will sell their property because they're just not getting their rent every time, and it's a problem, and that's the issue. Okay, and then they just want out and they want to get rid of it, and they've only got one investment property and so on. Those that have got 100 investment properties are not too concerned about that because they've got ways of working around it, and they've also got they've got a numbers game. And they've got 2 people that are not paying and 98 that are paying. They'll figure it out. It's for those generally that have got 1 or 2 that have an issue. So yeah, it's kind of, if you bought a house in 2021, you did good, and you're probably still going to do quite well. It was a good investment. You got it at a great price, most likely. I mean, it's 9 times out of 10, 2020 and 2021. Probably got your property at an amazing price. You're sitting with a great investment. But, I always say, guys, is it an investment or is it your home? Because if it's your home, does it really matter? You're in the market, you got in at a good price, and enjoy it. Okay, it's not to say you're going to make a huge profit at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's all about, do I have a nice home, and did I pay a good price for it? And then you're in the market. In the future, you're going to go back in at that level, so you kind of slot back in on the same level. So it's not a profit. And you look at my other videos, you'll understand what I mean. You're not really making a profit on your home. It's just a great savings account. So guys, just a little bit. Well done if you bought a home this year. Fantastic stuff. If you haven't, get to it. Give me a shout. Let's have a look. And if you're selling a home, don't forget to give me a shout as well. Let's chat about it. It's always interesting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Always really important. And then you can get all the next videos and whatnot first. And till next time, it's GillT. Have a great week. Cheers, guys.